Hello there, and welcome once again to Renewed Faith Devotions as we're reflecting on the great influences of the faith. We continue to look at the life and character of Luke the Apostle. From Acts chapter 27 and 28, I read selected verses beginning at verse 13. When the south wind blew softly, supposing that they had obtained their desire putting out to sea, they sailed close by Crete. But not long after, a tempestuous headwind arose, called Euroclydon. So when the ship was caught and could not head into the wind, we let her drive, and running under the shelter of an island called Clauda, we secured the skiff with difficulty. When they had taken it on board, they used cables to undergird the ship, and fearing lest they should run aground on the Syrtis sands, they struck sail and so were driven. And because we were exceedingly tempest-tossed, the next day they lightened the ship. On the third day we threw the ship's tackle overboard with our own hands. Now, when neither sun nor stars appeared for many days, and no small tempest beat on us, all hope that we would be saved was finally given up. But after long abstinence from food, then Paul stood in the midst of them and said, "Men, you should have listened to me, and not have sailed from Crete and incurred this disaster and loss. And now I urge you to take heart, for there will be no loss of life among you, but only of the ship. For there stood by me this night an angel of God to whom I belong and whom I serve, saying, 'Do not be afraid, Paul. You must be brought before Caesar, and indeed God has granted you all those who sail with you. Therefore take heart, men, for I believe that it will be just as it was told me. However, we must run aground on a certain island.' Now, when the 14th night had come, as we were driven up and down in the Adriatic Sea, about midnight the sailors sensed that they were drawing near some land. And they took soundings and found it to be 20 fathoms. And when they had gone a little farther, they took soundings again and found it to be 15 fathoms. Then, fearing lest we should run aground on the rocks, they dropped 4 anchors from the stern and prayed for day to come. And as the sailors were seeking to escape from the ship, when they had let down the skiff into the sea under pretense of putting out anchors from the prow, Paul said to the centurion and the soldiers, 'Unless these men stay on the ship, you cannot be saved.' Then the soldiers cut away the ropes of the skiff and let it fall off. And as day was about to dawn, Paul implored them all to take food, saying, 'Today is the 14th day you have waited and continued without food and eaten nothing. Therefore I urge you to take nourishment, for this is for your survival, since not a hair will fall from the head of any of you.' And when he had said these things, he took bread and gave thanks to God in the presence of them all. And when he had broken it, he began to eat. Then they were all encouraged, and they also took food themselves. And in all, we were 276 persons on the ship. So, when they had eaten enough, they lightened the ship and threw out the wheat into the sea. Now, when it was day, they did not recognize the land, but they observed the bay with a beach, onto which they planned to run the ship if possible. And they let go the anchors and left them in the sea, meanwhile loosing the rudder ropes. And they hoisted the mainsail to the wind and made for shore. They then found out that the island was called Malta, and the natives showed us unusual kindness, for they kindled a fire and made us all welcome, because of the rain that was falling and because of the cold." Talk about an adventure. The Apostle Paul, while in prison at Caesarea, exercised his right as a Roman citizen and appealed to Caesar. Paul was therefore dispatched to Rome in chains with a military escort. And during this journey, Luke stayed with him, determined to support him and to care for him no matter what lay ahead. The great dangers through which they passed and the hardships they endured are graphically described here in Luke's account of this journey. One would hardly blame Luke if he had turned away from this disaster-prone apostle, who seemed to go through so many difficulties one after the other, but not Luke. His loyalty knew no limits. He was a man bound, not only by a Hippocratic oath, but by an even greater loyalty, the loyalty of love to his Saviour and the loyalty to his friend, the Apostle Paul. And so as we think about this, can you be considered a loyal person? Can others depend on you when they are under stress or in difficulty? Loyalty has been defined as assuming responsibility for the needs of another person.